please, someone date me for free," she cried in a cafe. Then a single dad stepped in and changed everything. Callie hadn't meant to cry in public. She was 31 years old, sitting alone on a dark metal bench outside Scoops, a little ice cream shop on Maple Street in the kind of small Ohio town where everybody knew your name and nobody forgot your business. She was holding a chocolate cone she'd bought, just to have something to do with her hands. The afternoon sun was warm on her shoulders, but she barely felt it. The tears came anyway, quiet ones, the kind that slip out before you can stop them, before you even realize they've started. She'd just gotten off the phone with her mother. The conversation had been the same as it always was lately. Gentle on the surface, sharp underneath. "Callie, honey, I'm not trying to pressure you. I just worry. You work so hard. Don't you want someone to come home to?" And Callie had said the things she always said. That she was fine. That she was busy. That she didn't need anyone to feel complete. But somewhere between hanging up and walking out of the pharmacy where she worked, the weight of it had caught up with her. She'd stopped into Scoops almost without thinking, ordered the chocolate cone out of habit. It was what she always got as a kid. And sat down on the bench outside, and that was when the tears came. She wasn't crying about her mother, not really. She was crying about the years, about the quiet Sunday mornings that stretched too long, about the way she still set 2 coffee cups out sometimes before catching herself, about the relationship she'd ended 3 years ago because she'd known, deep in her bones, that staying would have been worse than leaving, about being 31 and feeling some days like the world had quietly moved on without her. She didn't want to be pitied. She just wanted to be known. By somebody real, somebody patient, somebody who wouldn't mind that she worked long hours and cried at old movies and still called her grandmother every Sunday evening without fail. She whispered it to herself, half laughing, half aching. "Please, someone just date me for free." She didn't know anyone had hurt her. Marcus had come to Scoops because his daughter had asked him to. Emma was 8 years old, small for her age, with her mother's eyes and his stubborn chin, and she had been lobbying for ice cream since approximately 7:30 that morning. He'd told her they'd go after her soccer practice, and he was a man who kept his word, even on the days when he was bone-tired, even on the days when the weight of doing everything alone pressed down harder than usual. He was 40 years old, broad-shouldered, dark-haired, with the kind of face that had earned its lines honestly, laugh lines, worry lines, the particular crease between the brows that comes from years of being the one responsible. He wore a worn burgundy long-sleeve shirt, the sleeves pushed up to the elbows, and he walked with the steady, unhurried step of a man who had learned long ago that rushing rarely helped anything. Emma had run inside ahead of him, already announcing her order to whoever would listen. Marcus had paused on the sidewalk, tilting his face up toward the late afternoon sun for just a moment, one of those small, private gestures people make when they need a second to collect themselves, before stepping back into the role that never takes a day off. That was when he saw her, the young woman on the bench, brown hair pulled back loose, a yellow dress under a denim jacket, a chocolate cone tilting slightly in her hand as her shoulders curved inward. He recognized that posture. He'd worn it himself in the early days after Sarah left. Not dramatically, not with slamming doors or shouting, but quietly, the way some marriages end, like a tide going out while you're not watching. He wasn't a man who inserted himself where he wasn't wanted. He'd always believed in giving people their space, their dignity. But something in the slant of her shoulders, the way she was trying so hard to hold herself together in public, made him walk toward the bench instead of through the door. He sat down slowly, leaving a respectful distance between them. The way you'd approach someone you didn't want to startle. "Hey," he said, his voice low and even. "You okay?" She looked up, and he could see she'd been crying. Not dramatically, just the quiet kind. The kind that leaves a person looking soft and a little raw around the edges. She gave a small laugh. The kind people give when they're embarrassed to be caught feeling something. "Not even a little bit," she said. He nodded, didn't push, didn't pull out his phone, didn't offer a string of well-meaning advice, the way some men do when they're uncomfortable with a woman's emotion. He just settled back against the bench, rested his hand lightly near her shoulder, not touching, just present, and let the silence breathe for a moment. "Long day?" he asked after a while. "Long few years," she said. And then she looked surprised at herself, like she hadn't quite meant to say it. But he didn't seem surprised. He nodded again, slow and thoughtful, like a man who understood exactly what a long few years felt like. "Yeah," he said quietly. "I know something about that." Her name was Callie Marsh. She'd grown up in Denton, moved away for college, come back when her grandmother got sick, and then just stayed. The pharmacy job had turned into a career. Her grandmother had recovered and then declined and then passed, and Callie had found herself rooted here in a way she hadn't entirely planned but didn't entirely regret. She liked the town. She liked knowing her neighbors. She liked the way the light fell over the courthouse square in October. She just hadn't counted on doing all of it so alone. She told Marcus some of this. Not all of it, just the parts that rose naturally to the surface. The way things do when you're sitting next to a stranger who happens to be listening with their whole self. He was good at that, she noticed. He didn't interrupt. He didn't finish her sentences. He just listened with the kind of steady, full attention that had become rare enough to feel like a gift. He told her a little about himself in return. His name was Marcus Daly. He'd moved to Denton 4 years ago. After his marriage ended, not bitterly, he was careful to say, just honestly. "We were better people apart than we were together," he said, and there was no performance in it. No fishing for sympathy. It was just the truth, offered plainly. His daughter Emma lived with him full-time. He worked in construction management. Ran a crew, got up early, went to bed late. Coached soccer on Saturday mornings when his schedule allowed. She's inside right now, probably trying to get 2 scoops and telling them it's her birthday, he said with a slow smile that started in his eyes before it reached his mouth. Callie laughed, a real one, the surprised kind. "Is it her birthday?" "Her birthday's in March," he said. "She does this every time." Callie shook her head, still smiling. "That is either real creativity or real audacity." "With Emma," Marcus said, "it's always both." They sat there for longer than either of them had planned. The afternoon light shifted and softened. A few people walked past. Someone's dog stopped to investigate. Callie's cone and was gently redirected by its owner. Emma appeared in the doorway twice, once to confirm that yes, she had gotten 2 scoops, and once to look at her father with the particular knowing expression that children get when they sense something is happening that they don't fully understand but somehow approve of. Marcus caught her look and gave her the slight chin tip that meant, "Give me a few minutes." She disappeared back inside with the solemnity of a child who has been entrusted with important business. "She's watching us," Callie said. "She absolutely is," Marcus agreed, unbothered. "She has opinions about everything. Gets it from her grandmother. Is your mother close by?" 20 minutes. She saves my life on a regular basis." He paused. "Do you have family here?" "My parents are in Columbus now. My grandmother was here, but she passed 2 years ago." Callie looked down at the cone, which had begun to melt slightly in the warmth. "She was the one who taught me that chocolate was always the right choice." "Smart woman," Marcus said. "The smartest." Her voice went soft for a moment, the way voices do when they're carrying someone they loved. She used to say, "Don't wait for perfect, just look for kind." There was a quiet between them after that, a comfortable one. The kind that doesn't need filling. Marcus looked at her for a moment, not in a way that was forward or presumptuous, but in the way a person looks when they're deciding whether to say a thing that matters. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Sure." "What you said before. When you first sat down," he said it gently without any edge. "I wasn't trying to eavesdrop, but I heard you. Something about someone dating you for free?" She felt the color rise in her face and laughed, covering it with her free hand. "Oh Lord, I said that out loud?" "Just barely," he said. "But yeah." She shook her head slowly, more embarrassed than upset. "I just meant I'm tired of things being complicated. I'm tired of the games, the apps, the whole performance of it. I just want something real, something easy." She paused. "Or at least easier." He was quiet for a moment, turning that over. "Easier sounds right," he said finally. "I've been out of it a long time, but I remember that it doesn't have to be a production. It can just be two people being honest with each other." She looked at him. "Is that what this is?" He smiled then, and it was a good smile. Warm. A little careful. The smile of a man who didn't take things lightly anymore, because he'd learned that most things worth having deserve to be taken seriously. "I think it might be a start," he said. He asked for her number before Emma finally dragged him away. Chocolate evidence of the second, scoop still, visible at the corner of the little girl's mouth. Emma shook Callie's hand with the formal gravity of someone conducting official business, announced that she liked Callie's jacket, and then declared that they needed to leave because she had a television program she was not willing to miss. Marcus apologized with his eyes. Callie laughed with hers. He texted her that evening. Just a simple line. "Hope the rest of your day got lighter, Marcus." She stared at it for a long moment. Then she typed back, "It already did." "Thank you for sitting down." He replied, "Your grandmother was right. About the chocolate and about the rest of it." She smiled at her phone in her quiet apartment, her feet curled under her on the couch. The kind of smile that doesn't need a witness. They had coffee the following Thursday. Then a walk the Sunday after that. Emma joined them for the walk, pedaling her bike along the path while Callie and Marcus talked about work, about family, about the things that had shaped them, the detours they hadn't planned, the strange grace of ending up somewhere you didn't expect and finding it suited you. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't a sweeping movie-style romance. It was better than that. It was real. It was two people, shaped by time and responsibility and love and loss, choosing to be honest with each other on a bench on a Tuesday afternoon, and then choosing it again, day by day, in all the ordinary and extraordinary ways that choosing someone actually looks like in real life. Callie still calls her grandmother's old number sometimes, just to feel the ritual of it. And some Sundays Marcus sits with her while she does, quiet and steady beside her, the way he was that very first afternoon. Just present, just there. It turns out that's everything. Friends, if this story found its way to your heart today, if it reminded you of something true, or someone you love, or a moment when a stranger's simple kindness changed the whole color of a day, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need a little warmth right now. Subscribe so you never miss a story, and leave us a comment below. We read every single one, and we are so grateful you're here with us.